Hey guys, Ronnie here. This week's episode is brought to you by NelsieSpencer.com. Everything Nelsie Spencer and Losing It is on NelsieSpencer.com. There you can find links to Nelsie's book, movie, and classes. Take Nelsie's writing classes or get one-on-one coaching and sharpen your writing skills. Take classes like screenwriting class and novel writing first draft. If you'd like to support the show, grab a couple things at the Losing It merch store where we have mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, hats like this one, the one I'm wearing, and much more. If you're watching this on YouTube, check out links to NelsieSpencer.com and other things such as the links to our equipment we use and all our social handles in the description down below. And if you want to contact us, tell us you love us, hate us, want to tell us you're losing a story and possibly have Nelsie read it on the show, email us at losingitcontact@gmail.com.
Losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it. If you got a story, we don't care if it's happy or gory, so come share your losing it story with us. Hi, everybody, she said with unbelievable enthusiasm. Welcome to Losing It with Nelsie Spencer, the podcast where guests come on, tell a story about losing something, and we have a lot of fun and hijinks ensue. I'm joined today, as always, by Ronnie Whaley, who is very nautical and striped in a blue and white t-shirt.
Yes, it's a stripe day. We're both wearing stripes.
We both have stripes on today. And as I don't think it's every Wednesday is stripe day, is it not? Haven't we established that?
Yeah, I think we put that in the books a long time ago.
Yeah. Okay, so and if you guys didn't know that, then I mean, come on. Throwback Thursday is so yesterday. So how the heck have you been? You said you were out tossing the football around. My Lord, that just sounds like youthful and fun and like a summertime or something.
Yeah, there's a hurricane. I just found out there was a hurricane like a couple days ago when my friend told me in New York that there was a hurricane somewhere near us. Yeah, and like New York was flooding. Did you hear about this? The subways were flooded.
No, I did not. I did not hear about that.
Oh, it's crazy. Like it was like a couple feet high. People were like,
wow.
Yeah, like you couldn't walk. You had to swim.
No, really?
Yeah, yes.
In the subways?
Yes, I'll pull up a video actually.
Oh, please do, because I totally missed it because I'm just I'm not in the loop. I'm not in any loop. The loop I'm in is me in my home and walking the dog and doing my podcast and working with writers. So I know we got some crazy rain here, like out of control rain. But
yeah,
hurricane? I didn't know that.
Yeah, apparently it was a hurricane, and anyway, there was a hurricane, and it was raining a lot here too. And then all of a sudden, the sun comes out, and we were like, "Let's do something," and we had a football,
Let's be out in the world. And how much football is played in the Philippines? Let me just ask you that.
Well, I was on a flag football team in the Philippines growing up. There is some football. It's not too crazy. It's very niche. There is a league. It's very small, so.
And it's a professional football league?
I wouldn't say professional. I'd say club.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, Ronnie, for those of you guys who are not on YouTube, it's serious flood. Like,
yeah, here.
Oh my God. So somebody is going down the stairs into the subway, and at the bottom of the stairs, the water is like, why are they going down there? What? Are they going to now get on the train?
This guy's he's
standing in a garbage bag. Yeah. Like he's doing
really working.
A bag race. What? Oh my, but only New Yorkers, right? Only New Yorkers would like, yeah, I see that it's a flood and it might be the beginning of like a disaster flick with Tom Cruise in it, but I'm just going to walk. I've got a train to catch.
Take the bus?
Yeah. Take a bus, take an Uber.
Take an Uber?
Go get something to eat. Go to movies are happening. Go to a movie. Wait for the flooding to subside.
Isn't that
That's crazy though.
Right?
That is. Yeah.
Oh my God. It's insane. I would not do that. In New York subway, I would not touch that. I barely stand in puddles in New York.
First of all, the third rail is electric, and that's what makes the train go. The subway runs on electricity. And when that third rail, it's the two rails, anyway, the third rail on a subway is the electricity that propels the train forward. So you could get electrocuted.
Why wouldn't they shut that station down? You know what I mean?
Thank you. Why? So many questions. There probably is
some reason that we don't know. But from that video.
Wow. They didn't get around to it?
I don't know.
So I've got some, I don't know if this is news, but I have something kind of fascinating happening in my house. That fascinating. That was way too strong of a word. Well, my son.
I'm excited.
I know you got excited. I'm going to so disappoint you. But my son, Malcolm, who, coaches soccer, he's been making surfboards, and selling them. He got a job waiting tables. Now he's a vegan.
Oh.
And he is now waiting tables at a steakhouse.
Oh, no.
A steakhouse on the Jersey Shore, where when, who comes in and orders steaks?
Overly tan people?
Well, and oftentimes people of a certain, maybe they have a family back in Sicily. And they want their steak and they want it a certain way. But you know what? They might have a pinky ring. They might not. But I will tell you, they tip really well. So my son's been coming home with, oh my God. I'm like, he comes in the house. The only thing I say to him was, how much did you make? I made $450 tonight. Oh, I made $500. Oh, I made, $250 on one table. And then the guy leaned in and put a folded $100 bill in my top pocket. The vegan is selling dead cows. And here's the thing. Is it a moral dilemma? I don't know. Because if he wasn't doing
it is.
I don't think it is.
Why is it not?
Because look, if he said, you know what, I'm not going to do that job. And he gave the job to Harry or Bill or Todd or Louise or Jessica, they'd still be killing the same amount of cows. Right? Am I right?
Yeah.
So why not him make the $450 a night instead of some other carnivore? Then he goes out and he spends his carnivore money on vegan products. And it's, it's a circle of life or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you have a
right?
point. You have a point.
Right?
Yeah. Well, no, see, I think that it makes sense morally, though. It's questionable.
Questionable.
The cycle of life is definitely there. I think it's justifiable.
It's justifiable. Yes, thank you. Let me tell you, if I was 25 or 22 or 62 and I could get a job, I think I'd do it. I mean, he made $2,000 working 20 hours. That just seems like a lot of money. Going, yeah. Here's your appetizer. Yeah, medium rare. Be right with you. Can I get you another $18 cocktail?
I'd eat like steak for 20 hours for $2,000.
Yeah, and of course they offer him. He gets they call it a shift meal, so you get a free meal and a free drink usually with every shift. Nothing on the menu he can eat.
You got sides?
Oh no! He said the French fries. He said he's had French fries a couple times.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, a lot of carbs. So anyway, that's the big that's the big excitement in my life.
That is hilarious, though.
He's gonna have a down payment for a house before I do. That's and I'm like,
where he'll raise. You should get a farm. And raise cows.
And not kill them.
And not kill
raise
them.
Cows
just
and not kill them.
Breed them.
Just love them. Just kiss them on their big beautiful noses. Cows are so pretty.
Yeah,
I think cows are beautiful with those lashes. Come on, who could eat a cow?
Yeah,
all right,
so
enough
beautiful.
of me. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like you have something to tell. I feel like you have a story.
Yeah, I don't know if I should.
Yeah?
I do. Okay, I gotta preface this correctly to not get in trouble. So I had a roommate in the past.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm so fucking intrigued.
Yeah. And he came home one night, and he's a good friend of mine, and he was given these pizzas from Chicago, right? So you know how you can do that now, right? You can you can get them in the mail, like what is it called? Like I don't know, the dry ice, right? The dry ice cooler.
Yeah.
So he gets frozen pizzas like directly from Illuminati's. I think that's what it's called.
Illuminati's. Don't you? If you're Illuminati, don't you like? Isn't that from like that Tom Hanks movie that was a book?
Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, aren't they all Illuminati's? And they whip themselves to orgasm. So I don't think. Yeah, I got these pizza from Illuminati's.
Pizza. Yeah,
of course. Yes. Okay. So
They're
the
Italian.
Illuminati's pizza.
Yeah. So he got four and a cheesecake, and he got him the day that he was leaving for a few weeks, and so he got him for his birthday, and so he left them in the freezer in our apartment. And one night I was alone, and I
Cue the music. Cue music. Cue scary music.
I was alone, and I actually had some whiskey because it was my friend's birthday also, and so we were having whiskey. And then
Wait, you were alone? You were alone having whiskey for your friend's birthday.
We were on a video. We were on like Zoom.
Oh, video chat. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and we haven't seen each other in a long time. So we were like talking a lot, and it was like hours, and we started drinking a lot. And then all of a sudden I was like really drunk, and I didn't even intend it to happen. And all of a sudden I was really drunk. And then I was like, oh my God, I don't have like any food. All the food I have is like, I have to like make it. I have like raw chicken. I have raw rice, raw potatoes, raw vegetables. So I'm like, damn. And there's no Uber Eats, no Uber Eats. There was no car. You know what I mean? There is no car. The car doesn't exist. There's no cars.
It's not like there's a car that's not here. There is no car. So when did this really actually happen, Ronnie Whaley?
I don't want to say it.
Okay.
Because
all right. So it happened a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
It might not even happened,
It might not have even happened. Right. Okay.
So I took the pizza out, and I took the Chicago pizza out, and I put it in the oven.
One?
Yeah, one. Put it in the oven, and then I had to put it in there for 25 minutes. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I put it in there, and then I laid down on the couch. Wake up 4 hours later.
Oh.
Luckily, the oven
God.
has like an automatic shut off thing. So,
right.
That's the first time that's ever happened to me.
It's not November, so I know he's not cooking a turkey.
Yeah, exactly. So when I opened up the oven, it was literally just a disc. It was a black disc. This is a deep dish.
Oh my!
Right. So I literally picked it up. Like you could give someone a concussion with that thing.
Yeah, it turned into it could be a weapon. It could be a weapon.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, damn it. The one thing I could have like explained myself out of, like, oh look, I didn't have anything.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, and I had some whiskey, and it was a birthday, and I only ate one. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. So I was like, oh fuck it, I'll just put another one in there. So I put another one.
Oh God. I just want you to know that the listener, they're not on your side. They were on your side.
Wait,
and they're moving. They're moving. Okay, keep going.
See, stay with me.
I'm with you. I'm on your side. I'm completely on your side. Just saying, the listener might have switched.
So I put it in there, took it out, ate it.
And was it good?
It was so good. It was amazing. I was so surprised how good it could be in the mail.
Wow.
I mean,
well, those Illuminatis, they know. Self-flagellation and pizzas. They've got it going on.
Recipe they got going.
Yeah.
So I ate the whole thing, and then I wake up the next day, and I'm like, holy shit, what am I gonna do? You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
you're down 2 pizzas. You're not down 1. You're down 2. But at least you didn't eat the cheesecake.
Yeah, so I was like, fuck it, I'll eat the cheesecake, right? And so
Oh, no! God, Ronnie. Okay, I think we've lost all the listeners are no longer on your side. Maybe 1 or 2.
you know what's even worse is that I didn't just eat the cheesecake. I made the cheesecake into brownies. So I found this recipe online. I just made them
I don't
into
know. I'm
brownies.
giving you props for that. Like, that's good. Like, you didn't just sit there with a fork and drunkenly eat the pizza. You did something important.
Yeah, I wanted to disguise the cheesecake so that he would think it was my cheesecake. I mean, my brownies.
Oh, wait, but how are you going to explain the missing cheesecake?
So so he was a couple of weeks from coming back. So I had to figure out what to do here. So I was talking to my friend and I was like, fuck, I don't know what to do. And
Call Illuminati's, for God's sake.
well, the thing is, it takes a while to get there. So it wouldn't have came. And so I was like, you know what? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to remake it. I'm going to remake it. So
Remake the cheesecake or the pizza or
the
both?
pizza.
Ah.
Yeah. So I still had
But then
like,
you have to rewrap it to make it look like it came from Illuminati's.
so this is what happened.
Oh
So,
my God, you're an evil genius. You are an evil genius.
so I still had the tin thing,
uh-huh.
the tin thing and the cardboard thing for both pizzas, right?
Wow.
Like I just put them in the fridge. I just put it in the fridge empty, right?
Right.
And I was lucky that I did that.
Because that makes sense.
Yeah, right. I don't know. I was really lucky that I did that. So what I did is I looked online for like easy deep dish pizzas recipes.
As
And
opposed to good. As opposed to good.
yeah, no, I
Let's just
looked
get some
for
easy
easy.
ones.
No, because like I can't be doing all this crazy stuff. I can't get like sauce from Italy and all that. You know what I mean? So I had to stick with Walmart tomato sauce, right? So
He'll never know. He'll
yeah,
never
exactly.
know.
So I got I got pizza dough. Like, you know how you can get pizza dough?
Yeah, you can get pizza dough like in the frozen section or even in the dairy section, I think you can. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what I got. And then all you need is actually it's like super easy to do it. Like everyone should try this. Like just get like a pie tin thing and then get a pizza.
Eat your roommate's very special, very expensive, coveted pizza in a drunken stupor, and then try this. Go ahead, Ronnie.
And so yeah, I did it. Like I put the pizza dough in. I put it's provolone cheese first. Then you put in the pepperoni because it was a pepperoni deep dish, and then you put the tomato sauce with tomato paste because it's a thick sauce, and then you put Parmesan cheese, and then I just put it in that container thing, and I put the cardboard thing, and I, you know how you like you fasten it with the foily thing.
Yeah.
You just froze it. And I did it twice. I did a test one. I did a test one first to make sure that it was passable.
And was it passable?
It was good. It was really good.
It was good.
The problem was it wasn't as good, but I didn't think he was.
But he won't. How will he know?
I don't think he was gonna know. Like I just had a feeling, right? And yeah, so I did that, and the cheesecake, like I couldn't do anything about the cheesecake. And I was just like, I'm not going to mention it. I'm not going to mention it. Like he looked at it briefly. Like he looked at everything briefly before he like literally had to leave. It was like a few hours. He looked at it for like 5 minutes and then left. So
yeah.
So the day comes, he comes back, right? And I'm thinking about is
this was this roommate that you had once a long time ago, right?
Super long time ago in like Mexico. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you lived in Mexico, right?
When I lived in Mexico for a couple of years, and came back, and all I was thinking about was that fucking pizza in the freezer. Like, when's he gonna eat it? What's he gonna eat first? Because you remember there was two.
There were 4.
Yeah. So there's 2 fakes, and there was 2 real ones, right?
I can't believe this, Ronnie. I am getting a peek into a side of you I did not know existed. Frankly, I'm frightened. I'm impressed.
Honestly, this is the first time I've ever done anything like this.
I'm impressed, but I'm also frightened.
This is the first time I've ever done anything like this. So, yeah. So he actually is like, oh man, he comes back and he's like, oh man, I'm hungry. And then he was like, "Oh yeah, I have pizza, right?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, pizza, yeah. I think you, you think you have that, yeah." And then he goes over, takes like a random one out, and I see that he takes, because I can tell which are like from like the just how it looks. I could tell he
looks
gets
a little
one
more professional than the other, perhaps.
A little bit neater, you know. So he sees he grabbed my recreation,
A fake one.
Yes, a fake one.
A Ronnie special. He grabbed a Ronnie special.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is what you want. You want him to grab the bad one first, because then he'll be like, "Oh, this is pretty good. I thought it would be better." And then by the time he gets to the third one, which is the real one, like, oh,
you think so?
This one is even. I think that's what I was thinking. But you tell me, because I don't know how it turned out.
So what he baked it. And he was like, "Do you want some?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure." And we sat down, we ate it, and I was just staring at him the whole time while I was trying to eat it. I was like,
"You're sweating." He's like, "Ronnie, why are you sweating?" Nothing.
No.
It's hot in here. It's hot in here. It's hot in here.
Yeah, and he had no idea. He just had no idea.
Did he comment? Did he say, "This is really good"?
No, he didn't say anything. And then the next day, he went and like fucked up the order and got a real one, right? I was like, "Oh, this is too soon. Too soon. The comparisons are too soon." This wasn't part of the plan. You know what I mean? So
this is like a Friends episode. This is like a 4-episode Friends arc. Am I right? This is like, oh, the one where Ronnie burns the pizza. Then it's the one where Ronnie eats the pizza. Then it's the one where Ronnie eats and destroys and remakes the cheesecake. Right? I mean, this is a lot. Okay, so he grabs a real one, and you're like,
yeah, I'm like, oh, dude, he's gonna know. He's gonna know. And I watch him eat it from like, I'm not eating because I just ate. And so like, I'm just like in the living room, and he's at the dining room table, and I'm like staring at the TV, but I'm looking at him like he doesn't know, but I'm like, my eyes are like this. Yeah. And he's like over here. And
like, this is a great episode of Queen's Gambit.
Yeah. And I'm like trying to see if he's like, he makes like a face or like a, interesting. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I'm okay. First of all, I want to say that my pizza was definitely not as good. I just think he just didn't know. He just wasn't paying attention.
And is he a foodie? You would think somebody who's ordering shit from Chicago.
No, he got it. It was his birthday, so someone gave it to him.
Birthday.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. And no, I would say he was a foodie, and he never knew about the cheesecake. To him, it never existed. So.
And if he brings it up, you just say, "What? What cheesecake? What are you talking about?"
Well, I don't know. It's funny because there is a video of him, because like I had to film him getting it so we can send it to the person who sent it to him. There's video evidence, right? But he hasn't like looked back at it. So
now while he's sleeping, you have to steal his phone and delete. And he'll wake up, "Dude, what are you doing?" "Nothing. Go back to sleep. You're dreaming."
So yeah. Oh man, yeah, it was such a long time ago. It was hard for me to remember all the details.
Yeah, right. So back in Mexico, wow, que bueno, yeah, muy delicioso or something like that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's been weighing on my chest for a while.
Yeah, and do you feel like you've let it go now that you've said it aloud? Am I the first person you've told this story to?
No, I had a friend, the one I was talking to, and she was saying like she was telling me like just sending her pictures, and I'm like, I don't know. She was talking me through it the whole thing.
Oh,
she
honestly,
nice. It was her like idea. Like, she was really the master. I blame her. So
as well we should. She's the mastermind. And look, if you get caught, you just throw her under.
Yeah, fuck her.
The bus.
Yeah.
I never liked her.
Horrible person.
That's hysterical. Really, that's worthy of 4 solid Friends episodes. I'm telling you, that is really good.
I didn't have to do it. I could have just told the truth, but.
Oh yeah, but why do that when you can? Because you burned one, then you ate 2, but then you had to make 3 because you had to taste one to say, am I pulling this off? Am I pulling this off?
I knew I had to do that. Yeah. Because if the test didn't work, then all of this was a sham. Like none of this was going to work, right?
It's all a sham, Ronnie.
Yeah.
It is all a sham. But is it a sham that worked or not worked? And so far, working.
It has. It has.
You know what? It's in the vault. Okay. I'll never speak of this.
Yeah.
Listeners,
Yeah.
you guys, please don't tell anyone. I mean, tell people to listen to this episode, but aside from that, don't tell anything.
Yes, no one I know.
That's exactly. No one Ronnie knows. That's really funny. And I'm really impressed. I am so impressed.
I don't know what you're impressed of.
The lengths that you will go to not just fucking tell the truth, to not just tell the truth, to not just go, I fucked up big time. Sorry.
I thought about it.
Burnt one, ate the other, and you know what?
Yeah.
I just ordered
story.
them.
It's that story that I didn't want to tell. You know what I mean? Look, I almost burned down, the apartment. Then I ate the other one, and I ate the cheesecake. You know what I mean? I don't want to say that.
It is pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
But I would have immediately gone to Illuminati's website and ordered.
I checked. I did.
You did.
But
even if it takes a long time, how long is it going to take him? Oh, right. Because you still would have had to make the 2 fake ones. All right. Okay. All right. Well, I think you did a good job.
I thought this out.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, son.
Yeah. Thank you.
So we have a fun guest.
Yes,
we
amazing
have a very
guest.
fun guest. Oh, she's so amazing. You know her as Boo from Monsters, Inc. And Ronnie found her and said, will you be on our podcast? And she said, yes. And she is just as kind of great as you think she would be. And you're going to hear a few surprises about what she's done other than Monsters, Inc.
She's all grown up.
She's all grown up. She's blonde hair. She's adorable. And and smart and all of those things. I don't want to sound condescending. She's fantastic. So let's check it out. I am so excited. Once again, I know I say this every week, but Ronnie has discovered somebody that you may or may not have heard of, but somebody who is interesting and fun. And I just know she's fun. I just spent 90 seconds with her, but I can tell she's fun.
Thank you.
So I'm really happy that he found her and that she said yes. And her name is Mary Gibbs, and she is a VJ, a videographer, and an event planner, event thrower, right? And
yeah.
I'm so glad she's here. Hey, Mary.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to be here, finally.
Yeah. And are you in California?
I am, yeah. I'm in San Diego right now.
San Diego. I feel like all these paths keep going to San Diego lately.
Yeah, I've moved around a lot, but San Diego's brought me back 3 times, so it's a good place to be.
Are you a San Diegoan? However, Ron Burgundy used to call them in
I am
Anchorman.
Now. I'm from Northern California originally. Moved around a lot, but like I said, San Diego's brought me back 3 times, so I think I'm officially a San Diegan.
A San Diegan. Yeah, well, it's a beach town, but it's also kind of a city, so it's got a lot going for it.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of different options, a lot to do here, for sure.
Yeah. So, what does a VJ do these days? I mean, back in the day with MTV and all that, how does a VJ just explain it to me. I'm old. A VJ does the live visuals behind DJs or at shows, like what's projected onto the wall. And I started originally getting into videography and making videos for either restaurants or events. I've made a few wedding videos. I've been doing that for a few years, and then my boyfriend, he's a DJ, and so he kind of came to me like 6 or so months ago. It's probably been a little longer than that by now. And he was like, well, you really like videos. Have you ever heard of VJing? And at the time I had no idea what it was. But it's really cool because I've done a lot of filming of like fire spinners and just a lot of filming on my own. So I'm able to incorporate that into it's like a DJ mixes music live and a VJ mixes video live. That's kind of the easiest way to put it. But that's one of the things that I do. I totally get it. When I was growing up, back in the 1890s, and it was right around the time where like things were really psychedelic, right? And I can remember going to my high school dance, and Mark Spears and Joe DeSanto, who both had hair down to here, um, organized like psychedelic background to go along with the music. And it was a lot of tie-dye and like kaleidoscope kind of a stuff, which I'm
Yeah.
sure compared to what you can do was probably pretty lame. But at the time I was like, oh, I'm so cool. This is really cool.
Yeah, no, it's cool. It's nice having the like, video and or audio and visual effects that kind of makes the whole show. So
Yeah, fantastic. And so I'm just guessing, did you and your boyfriend meet on a gig? Like, how'd you guys meet?
So in San Diego, I've been involved with this group of fire spinners. I also started spinning fire about a year ago, and we meet up once a week. And my boyfriend, he goes by Spaceman, his DJ persona, but he would DJ for all the fire spinners. So we just I would again meet weekly with that group, and we just met that way. So
wow. And what's your handle? What's your VJ handle? Do you have one?
I've been reclaiming Boo. So he goes by Spaceman, I go by Boo. So Spaceman and Boo, reclaiming that. So.
All right. So speaking of which, I did not say that in her intro. First of all, I can't believe that I didn't mention fire spinner, because you're my first fire spinner, just so you know. But one of the things that's pretty fascinating about Mary Gibbs is that she did the voice of Boo in the legendary classic Pixar movie Monsters, Inc., which, by the way, I watched recently. And it's still, to say it still holds up is like, who even needs to say that? Because it's so fantastic. So when you say you've been reclaiming her, talk to me about that a little bit, because I think it's probably like, how old were you when you did that?
Yeah, so I was only 3 years old when I was the voice of Boo. And I got the role because my dad was a storyboard artist at Disney and Pixar for like over 30 years. And originally they just needed a little girl to draw and to sketch. And so he brought me in. But as the movie progressed, they just saw how comfortable I was in the studio. And normally they have like, older people do kids' voices, but they liked the idea of having like a real authentic little girl play the role. And I think that's one of the reasons people fell in love with Boo so much. So yeah, they just followed me around the studio with a microphone. And
oh my God, without a doubt, your actual voice, your actual reactions, were just took the movie to a whole different level. And we fall in love with Boo immediately. So how much of it do you remember?
I remember, bits and pieces being so young. I was 5 years old when the movie actually came out. So I actually remember like meeting Billy Crystal, and he walked me down the red carpet. And I remember signing autographs for the first time when I had just learned to write my name. So I definitely have little like snippets of memories. Wish I had more, but I'll take what I can get.
I'm glad you mentioned Billy Crystal, because I was going to say, what's he like? I'm sure he was great. Am I right? Do you remember how he was?
Yeah, I remember him being really nice when we actually first met, because when you're recording, the actors aren't in the same booth. We all do it in separate booths, and then it gets edited together. But I believe the first time I actually met him was at the premiere, and he like walks up to me and says "Boo" in his Mike Wazowski voice, and I turn around and I'm like Mike Wazowski. So it was a good moment for sure.
That's too cute. That is too cute. So now Boo has the classic, she got pigtails, right? Doesn't Boo have pigtails?
Yeah, and she actually had pigtails. My mom would always put my hair in pigtails. And so all the original sketches of Boo would be me playing around in pigtails. And they found out it was easier to animate Boo with pigtails anyway. So they went with it.
Yeah, I was wondering if your pigtails inspired her pigtails, which are so damn cute. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Did.
So you're 3 years old, you're doing all that, which how much you remember when you're 3, but that's very cool. And then you're 5 and the movie comes out, and then like, was that sort of it? Like I had sort of this, incredible career when I was 3, and then you just went on and were a regular kid.
Yeah, essentially, when the movie came out, other production companies were reaching out to my parents and trying to get me roles in their movies. I auditioned for Santa Claus 2 with Tim Allen, and I I was brought into the audition, I just came in from Disneyland. So I had a flannel shirt on and I had like a Slurpee stayed down my shirt. And we walk in and it's all these like pageant girls, you know, and so I kind of realized instantly that it wasn't the world for us. I actually did get that role, but they found out a 7-year-old couldn't work as many hours as a 9-year-old. So we went away from that. And then after that, my mom kind of pulled me out because she didn't want me to end up like, you know, Lindsay Lohan or Britney Spears or, you know, just growing up as a child after it can be rough, you know, so.
It's a long list. It's a long list of people that have really suffered in the hands of that. Yeah. Well, good for your mom.
Yeah, I know. I'm definitely grateful for that, for sure.
Yeah, because I think part of the, you know, one of the, I don't want to make a sweeping generalization, but I do think that if you have the parent who's driving the ship, you know, and driving their child's career.
Yeah, like living vicariously through the child, you know.
Part of what fucks them up. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, definitely good. Good on my parents for, you know, not being that kind of parent. So.
Right on, mom and dad. And are they still in Northern California?
So my mom's in San Diego, and I'll get more into it in the second half. But my dad passed away last year, but he was up in Northern California for a while because he was working with Pixar, and then he stopped working for them. He switched over to DreamWorks, so he was in LA most recently. But yeah, pretty close.
Yeah. It's well, yeah. I'm so sorry to hear about your dad.
It's okay.
Yeah. My God, well, I'm old. So, I mean, I'll look back at I always say I'm going to look back at myself now in 20 years and go, damn, I was adorable. But both my parents are gone, you know, and, but you're very young to have lost your dad. So I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So now you're in San Diego, your videography and VJing and thinking about getting back into voiceovers.
Yeah, like you said, I was getting into video. I was definitely would say I'm more comfortable behind the camera now. I really like editing too, so I'm like that's more my jam, the editing. But I've been doing a couple years ago, a company, Celebworks. They reached out to me and said I could have the opportunity to do Comic-Cons. So they manage, I think they're up to like 400 people. They manage like the voice of Mickey Mouse and Goofy and Tinkerbell and Poison Ivy and, you know, Robin Hood and all these like really Alan Oppenheimer, who was Skeletor, all these really like big time actors. And so for the past couple years, I've been doing that. Or maybe it's about 3 years now. The pandemic kind of put me in a time warp. Yeah,
like
so
all of us.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just picking back up again. I just got flown to Florida, so I get to fly places and go to Comic-Cons. And at one of these Comic-Cons, I met Andrew Nelson, and he was one of the Darth Vaders. So he wore the suit in a couple of the movies, and he does the voices for all the video games. And
awesome.
Him and this other guy, Jerry, they are directing and producing a new audio show called Heroes of Extinction. And it's about a superhero that as he's getting older, he's losing his powers and he's looking for like a second in line and super heir. And that girl is Janessa. And they saw me fit for playing the role of Janessa. And so I've been back in the voice of like recording studio for the first time since I was 3 and just kind of putting my foot back in the water. And right now it's just an audio show, but and it's going to be released in a couple months. They're finishing up all the final details, but yeah, that's been my like first getting back into voice acting. And you know, people always ask me like before this opportunity if I ever wanted to get back into voice acting, and I knew I wasn't one of those kids or just people in general that wants to like go out and audition. You know, I knew that since I was 5. I didn't want to go to a bunch of auditions, and you know, I wasn't that kind of person. But if a role like fell into my lap, then so yeah,
because auditions are soul killing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I listen to all these podcasts. I'm listening to Zach Braff and Donald Faison doing like the Scrubs. I don't know if you ever watched Scrubs. That they're doing a
No,
Scrubs.
I didn't watch that one. But
well, you just hear these again and again. You hear these really famous, successful people, and everyone has a story about auditioning, and it's always like so hard. And I was an actor, and part of the reason I didn't succeed the way I wanted to is because I couldn't take the auditioning process. I couldn't. It was just too much.
I always hear 2 stories about actors getting into it. And, one is the story, like I met one of the Blue Power Rangers, I forget his name, but at one of my Comic-Cons, and he said he auditioned like 950 times and was told no 950 times, but he was persistent. And, the 951st time he was told yes, and that kind of launched his career. But then the other half is just, being in the right place at the right time. And so I'm definitely more of that kind of person than, just the soul killing auditions.
Right. Well, that's exciting though. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
I love
so
this.
It'll be we're getting character designs are happening, and I think they're like slowly working into trying to get it animated, and maybe we'll see where it goes. More people are it's slowly gaining traction, so
it's a great concept.
Yeah, it's a really well written story, and like the it's just an audio show, like I said, but the production's really high. Like you get all the sound effects and everything. So yeah,
that's so fun. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow. So, do you have to go to LA to do that? Is it happening in New York, or because it's voiceover, you can do it from wherever?
Yeah. Since it's voice acting, I can do it from wherever. I was going up to my friend's studio in LA, and he actually has, he was friends with the voice of Disneyland and the voice of California Adventure. They're actually married. So anytime you're like walking around and you hear a voice on the loudspeaker, he's coined the voice of Disneyland, and his recording studio is actually on my friend's property. So I got to go there for a couple times. Another time I just, like I said, my boyfriend's a DJ. He has like all this audio equipment and microphone. So I did it in my living room a couple times. So I could kind of do it wherever. So
that's so awesome. That is one of the things I love about the pandemic. Now, what's been good about the pandemic is that people have discovered how many things you can do remotely. And so it's changed up a lot of things. And like Ronnie's my producer, and we met during the pandemic. I've never met him in person. You know?
Like you said, like one good thing I learned from the pandemic is just how adaptable people can be. Like you said, just figuring out you could do everything remotely, and it's not always the best. Like I tried to do online school for a bit, and they didn't really get the ball rolling how I'd liked. But a lot of people, for the most part, you could figure out. Yeah, you could just do things from home. I don't even have to be wearing pants right now, and you would never know.
That's so funny because I don't have pants on. No pants. No, just kidding. I have pants on. I do. So, wow. I think tell me again the name of the audio thing you're doing.
It's called Heroes of Extinction, and they're developing the website, but it could be listened to on heroesofextinction.com. And also Jerry, he's the producer. He has a site called themeparkology.com where he does videos of like the production and the behind the scenes of Disneyland rides. So it's going to be on there too. And like I said, they're like slowly gaining traction. We have like Kenny James, he was the voice of Bauer and Mario, and a couple other like bigger name people that it's slowly getting bigger. And so I think they're eventually going to pitch it to some company, and I don't know, we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. Oh, that's so fun. That's so exciting. That is so isn't that crazy, Mary, that you're like, okay, I'm 3. They follow me around with a microphone. I'm 5. I'm like, hi, Billy Crystal. Let's walk down the red carpet. And then mom's like, I'm not sure this is what I want for my daughter. Thank you, mom. And then fast forward, how many years?
I'm 24 now. So.
Oh, yeah, okay. So 19 years. 19 years since the red carpet. You're now like, now
I actually have to act, before I was just being followed around being myself, and now I'm like, okay, I actually have to act. This is definitely harder, but yeah, it's fun.
That's great. Well, the more you can sort of be yourself, the better you're acting. You know what I mean?
That's what's cool about sorry.
No, unless you're playing some character that's way far away from you, but if you're playing a character that's close to you, then you can just like.
Yeah, and Janessa, what's cool about that character is, even like the director says, and why they saw me as the role is there's a lot of like parallels. Like I've been doing Krav Maga the past year. It's like Israeli the self-defense used in the Israeli military. And Janessa was like this timid character that started doing also training like martial arts, and you could like progressively see her get like stronger and more confident throughout the show. So it's kind of like, I don't have to change my voice, I just have to obviously act on different emotions and all that. But yeah, that makes it easier.
Oh, how fun. Well, they should write in some fire spinning.
Yeah, right. They should write in seriously. Have her weapon like be a rope dart on fire.
Yes. How did you get into fire spinning? That's pretty fascinating.
Yeah, so it started out when I was little, I used to love to hula hoop, and I could just hula hoop for hours. I had a hula hoop that counted how many spins I could get in like the thousands. And then when I was in high school, I did a volunteer trip for a couple months in the Dominican Republic. And one of the older volunteers, she had this collapsible hula hoop that she would dance with. And I was just immediately intrigued, and she taught me one move. And then I came home, and this was back in, I was a junior in high school, and I just spent hours on YouTube looking up different moves. And I got into the whole world. It's like, they're called flow arts. So like dancing with a hula hoop, or, people do poi, which is like two balls with, on the end of strings. Rope dart is what I do now, which used to be a martial arts weapon. But just like the world of flow arts. And so I graduated high school in Hawaii, and I would meet up once a week with this. We would just hang out on the beach, and everyone would we'd have a boombox, and people would hula hoop and dance, and like all these like flow artists. And this one girl had a hula hoop that she would light on fire, and I did it once. Then that was just my first time, and then I moved away to college and lived life, and now I'm back in San Diego. And I found a similar group of people where once a week we'll hang out, and everyone there's like acrobats and circus people and like flow artists. And I just kind of made the decision then I started getting into rope dart, like I said, and I just finally bought one with a wick on the end, and just to try it out. And what's great about all the friends that I know now is everyone's so willing to teach you. And we have like one of our friends does like a class on it once a week. So I just kind of like hung out with people that did it, and just started getting into it.
That's fantastic. I feel so boring. I can't even tell you.
No. It's definitely a big adrenaline rush.
It's like, I walk my dog. And I enjoy it very much. But
that's good. Whatever works for you.
Flow art and fire spinning. And where in Hawaii? What island were you on in Hawaii?
I was on Oahu. My mom just became friends with Susan Catmull. It was Ed Catmull's wife, and he's the president of Disney and Pixar, and he invented computer animation. So they were building this really nice house in Hawaii. They were going to retire there. They decided that they didn't want to retire there because not enough of their family was around, and they weren't flying, making the 6-hour flight as often as they want. So they decided to retire in San Francisco. And meanwhile, they just didn't know if they were going to sell this house or what they were going to do. And my mom was half joking, but she was like, well, if you need someone to like house it, we got you. And she was actually liked the idea. And a week later, we left with one suitcase and lived in this mansion for free in Hawaii for 2 years. So it was a crazy opportunity. So it's all about the people you know.
Absolutely. There's the title of your memoir, The People You Know. That's the title of the memoir.
It's true. It's totally true.
Oh my. So, wow, this is fun and learning so much more about you. And, because I knew, there's Boo over here, and she's animated and she's got pigtails. And then, I had seen pictures of you, and Ronnie told me about you. And so then, but I just had literally these 2 little snapshots of you. So, animated Mary Gibbs, AKA Boo, and then you today. But to hear all this stuff is really fascinating. So what I understand that you have a losing it story for me.
I do. Yeah. Yeah. So like I mentioned before, I did lose my dad in April of last year. And it was sudden. I was 23 at the time, and he was 55. So I was actually in Hawaii visiting my stepdad, who, this is kind of a depressing lost story, but it gets more depressing. But anyway,
it's okay. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's about having a story, telling a story that resonates and that means something to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. But I was, so my mom's second marriage, she's, divorced him, and she's on her third marriage. Stepdad's great, but my second stepdad, first stepdad technically, he was just still, even after they divorced, still was just like a father figure to me. And he would fly me out to Hawaii once a year, because that's where he lived, that's where they met. And so I was in Hawaii for a month back in May, April, and it was just like a week went by where my dad just wasn't texting me back. I was asking questions about like school and like things like this. And like, just got that gut feeling where I was like, there's something wrong. Luckily I know one of his really close friends that lives right up the street from him. So I called him and I was like, can you just go check on my dad? It's been like a week since he hasn't picked up. And he's actually the one that like walked in and found him. And like I said, it was like he died from a heart attack. So it was sudden. We had no idea of any like precursors, which I think is better. Like I didn't watch him suffer from cancer or anything for years, so kind of that like fast, release was, I think, made me deal with it a little better. And what also made me deal with it a lot better was, especially like the 6 months before he passed, we just became really close. I lived with him for a few months, and, we'd go out to the bar. I was like his wingman. He was literally like one of my best friends. We would go to festivals and concerts together and like party together. And like, he was definitely not a normal dad, so that was, yeah. And then to get more depressing, a month later, we had his virtual memorial because it was in the pandemic. We couldn't actually have a memorial. And literally like in the middle of the memorial, my stepsister in Hawaii calls me, and I was like, can I call you back? Like, I'm in the middle of this memorial. She's like, no, it's important. And then to find out my stepdad in Hawaii died during my dad's memorial. So yeah, it was like, okay, come on, universe. Like, what are you doing to me? So, I grew up in like, all my friends had these like family issues and like, abuse and all this stuff. And I grew up like, pretty like all happy. I was like, when something bad gonna happen to me? And then it was like all at once, just kind of like compiled.
So let's back up for a sec. Okay. So how old were you when your mom and dad divorced?
I was like 5 or 6. So they divorced
young.
Yeah, I was young, but I was really lucky. They, I wouldn't say they stayed like best friends, but they stayed like really cordial with each other. Like we spent all Christmases and Easters. So growing up, like the divorce didn't really affect me super negatively. My dad had to stay in Northern California, and my mom and I moved first to San Diego and then to Hawaii. And so I kind of saw him less and less throughout high school. But luckily was able to like rekindle that after.
And are you an only child? Any siblings?
I am, yeah, only child.
Only child, yeah. So would you say so you're 5 or 6 when they divorced, and then your dad stays in Northern California and you're in Southern California, then Hawaii. And so like you said, you didn't get to see him as much. So then these 6 months before he died, when you guys got close, talk to me about how that happened. Like, was that something conscious that happened on your part or on his part?
What was even after, so my mom and I moved to San Diego and then Hawaii, and then I moved a lot after that. I went to Colorado for college. I lived back in San Diego for a little bit. I moved down to Mexico for almost a year, moved to Arizona after that. And then after, I was dating this guy when I was living in Arizona, and it was this really like stressful relationship where like I was 20, 21 and he was 28 and had like no job or car or anything. So it was really stressful. And finally my dad kind of like put the foot down because I asked my dad for like help with rent one more time. And he's like, what is John doing with his life? Anyway, my dad flew out to Arizona with me, and we like packed up all my stuff. And then I lived in LA with my dad after that.
So wait a minute. So let's slow down because this is a good part. I don't want to. Let's not rush.
My story is long and crazy.
Oh, honey, listen to the episode that comes out this Monday on Losing It. You'll get a little taste of my story. But of course, my story's longer because I'm older. But let's slow down. So you're living in Arizona.
I threw a lot out of
John. With John. No, I'm enjoying every second of it. And
we actually lived in Mexico together. And then moved to Arizona. And like I said, he like had no job. He was like he played on the minor league baseball, and he like blew all his money. So, and he wasn't like, didn't want to get a job because I just started doing Comic-Cons at the time. So like I was getting enough money to like survive. Like if it was just me surviving, it would have been great. But then, I was the sole provider in the family at age 21, So
right, with a 28-year-old guy who's not pulling his weight at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
He must have been really cute. Was he really cute?
He was cute, but now looking back, definitely not cute enough. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not cute enough, not nice enough. So
okay, well, all right. So you call up Dad. And you're like, Dad, can you help me with the rent?
Yeah, he's like,
no.
What is? Yeah, he's like, no, not again. What is John doing? He kind of like finally put his foot down, and that was like I was getting over the relationship. We dated for 2 years, and like the last year, I was just really like, okay, this isn't good. So having my dad kind of put his foot down helped me like. Was the linchpin to help me get out of that.
But Dad gets on a plane and comes to Arizona?
Yeah, he actually drives. I think we drive, or maybe we flew together. But either way, yeah, he comes to Arizona.
But he comes to Arizona, and does he say, John, Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Please
So how did that happen? So I'm trying to think of all I was in Arizona. This is how it happened. I was in Arizona. Dad says no. My dad, he's like very sweet, very nice. And then but when he's mad, like he gets mad. So like, that's when you know, like there's really something wrong. So I actually my mom lived in San Diego. I flew to San Diego, pretty much told John, didn't tell John that we were like breaking up or anything right then, but I was like, I just need to see my mom. And it was like, then that we kind of devised like, okay, you know, how to get away.
You devised a plan.
Devised a plan. And essentially, but I remember, I think I stayed in Arizona or San Diego at the time, but either way, John ended up finding out that we were breaking up, you know, all this was happening. And John actually, my car was in Arizona and he ended up packing up all my stuff for me, probably in a fit of rage or whatever, just like put all my stuff in the car. And so my dad then drove to San Diego when we flew to Arizona together. And so by the time we actually got to the house, everything was packed up. I just had to go inside and like say bye, one last goodbye and get my dog. And, you know, my dad,
gotta get the dog. You gotta get the dog.
And then me and my dad, we road tripped back to LA together. So yeah, it was dad to the rescue. Exactly. I hope he sees that.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad Dad came to the rescue.
Yeah. And like, you know, even though, like I said, we spent less time in you know, in high school, like he was still such a great dad. Like, it wasn't like, you know, he was this absent father in my life. Like he was still like, I knew like no matter what, he'd be there for me. So that was a good.
He had your back. Well, and he was in that moment, he was there for you in the best way because he said no.
Yeah,
he said
exactly.
no when he needed to say no. And that forced you to go, what the heck is going on here?
Exactly.
Right?
I'm like, okay, if Dad's mad, then I really need to change something. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So talk to me a little bit about the how you guys ended up like having these 4 months together. Do you feel like you sort of got to know each other again during that time or got to know him in a different way because now you were an adult? I mean, you were his wingman.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole other.
It was definitely, now it felt more like we were friends, you know, definitely getting to know each other in a different way. And like, you know, he would tell me about all these like, you know, party stories he had growing up. And like, we just got to know each other again, just as friends and not like, you know, he was still like looking out for me and like being a good dad, you know, it wasn't like everything was like to the wind, but yeah, I just got to know him in a different way.
You guys weren't like taking Molly together.
No. No. We did take shrooms together once, but you know, that's a different story.
Oh, okay.
So he was a cool dad. We would go to
cool with a capital C.
Yeah,
cool
exactly.
with a capital C.
We would go to we went to a couple we went to this music festival in San Diego together, and then one of the ones that we went to before he passed, it was actually my uncle bought tickets for me and my cousin to originally go to this reggae festival, and it was right in Long Beach, I believe, and the Queen Mary is this beautiful ship that got converted into a hotel.
I know that I grew up in Southern California.
Oh, perfect. So, yeah, so you know.
The Queen Mary was in Long Beach while I still lived in California. So yes, the Queen Mary got converted. Yes. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we had plans to stay there. But last minute, my cousin was like, I don't like reggae. I don't want to go to this, it was really weird. It was like her dad's Christmas present to her, but no, whatever. It all worked out. And she was like, here, you can just like take the ticket and like bring a friend. And honestly, like, because my dad and I were just such good friends, the first person I thought of, I was like, well, I don't want to go with anyone but my dad. And so that was really a few months before he passed. We ended up going to that concert together, 3 days, staying on the Queen Mary, just having a ball. It was great.
That is seems so incongruous. Yes, the reggae concert on the Queen Mary. I did not see that coming. Right?
Yeah, no, it was great. And then after that, in October,
is that when you did the shrooms? Is that when you did the shrooms on the Queen Mary?
we might have done shrooms then, yeah. Small amount, you know, but just enough, you know. He was responsible. And then in October, we actually with one of his good friends, Chris, who's the one that, you know, ended up finding him in the long run. We all went to New Orleans for Halloween together. And yeah, so we just had a few really good trips. You know, it wasn't all party, but you know, that definitely brought us closer to it. Again, just more hanging out as friends. And I ended up, after a few months of living with him, I found actually rented a studio beneath my uncle's house. And so I moved down to Southern California before he passed. But just being able to live with him, and like even when I lived in San Diego, I would drive up to LA like, you know, every few weeks just to hang out with him and Chris. And yeah, so we just definitely got to know him in a different way, which was really nice.
You didn't know it at the time. You didn't know you had this limited amount of time with him, obviously.
Yeah.
But looking back, you must have felt like a certain amount of, you know, joy that you had all that time, you know, that you had this sort of concentrated time where you got to know him.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like, you know, I think grief is harder to deal with when you have a lot of regret, you know, and like, you know, of course there's regret. Like, I wish I spent more time with him, like even in high school or whatever it is. But just knowing that we had like all that concentrated time together definitely made grieving and the whole like grieving process a lot smoother.
Yeah. And what was the thing about him that you liked the most?
Definitely. So he grew up in a really Christian, like hardcore Church of Christ, like cult version of Christianity almost, household. And he was the youngest of 6 siblings. But since he was little, like 2 years old, essentially, he was drawing and making stories. So he always knew that art was his passion. And of course, like telling that to his dad, that didn't go over very smoothly. But he followed his passions, and he was like, I don't care. I'm going to go to art school, and I'm going to, you know, put my portfolio on the desk of a Disney executive and get a job. And, you know, he went on to Pixar and, you know, ended up directing like Cars Toons, Mater's Tall Tales. He directed Cars 3 for the first few years. And like, he just, being able to see him turn his passion into
an amazing career. Like, amazing.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the reasons that, you know, definitely the thing I love most about him, and the one thing that like, you know, has helped me be who I am. You know, I see something and I'm like, I can do it, you know, with knowing that. So
yeah, I was going to ask you, what do you would think's the most important thing you learned from him? But I feel like you already told me that.
Yeah, that is kind of all in one, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, because everything that you're doing to me sounds like it's passion driven, you know, and, you know, fire twirling, but it's not. It's fire spinning, right? I don't know. Twirling sounds a little lame. Spinning has some
exactly.
So fire spinning and doing the VJing and the videography. And, it's, you know, it sounds like you follow your passion and you've lived in all these interesting places and you're 24, my Lord.
Yeah, I definitely try to, you know, take life by the horns or whatever that saying is.
My brother used to say, grab the bull by the balls and run with him.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I mean, it's really just been a little over a year, right?
Yeah. It was April of last year. So yeah, just a little over a year.
Where are you in the grieving process? Like how, I mean, I guess that's kind of a silly question because, I mean, my mom died in 1997 and she was 81. Sorry, in 2006. And I still every once in a while just miss her so much. So
yeah, I definitely I think you know, the past year I was doing really good. I like felt, you know, of course I felt sad about it, but you know, maybe it was just like oppressing it a little bit. And then recently there's been more moments where it's like more sad moments where I'll miss him more. But it is, you know, it's on and off, you know, but
yeah. It comes in waves.
Yeah.
Like sometimes
exactly.
You're like, I mean, I remember when my mom died, I was like sobbed, a lot of sobbing. And then I would be, oh, I guess I'm over it. And then I'd be driving the car and I'd start to sob and I'd have to pull over to the side of the road. And
yeah, exactly. It does come in waves.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Wow. I'm so sorry for your loss, but I'm so happy that you had that time with him and that you had, like you said, yes, you maybe you regret that you'd spent more time with him in high school, but that's the kind of thing when you're a kid, you can't think about, you know, you're just doing your life, you know, and especially when you have divorced parents, you just doing your life. I'm just so glad that you guys, you know, you had a cool dad, but a dad that wasn't that, but a dad who had your back and came to Arizona and said, John, yeah, she's coming with me. Yeah. I love that. That.
Yeah, definitely lucky.
Oh my goodness. So do you have any advice or suggestions for somebody who might have recently lost a parent? I guess that would be a question in terms of like, what helped you deal with it?
Yeah, I think like one of the biggest things, wherever people are at spiritually or whatever it is, I think that people who pass, that's my belief, is that they're still with us. Sometimes I like kind of like feel his presence, nothing like crazy paranormal or anything, but just knowing that they are with you, that's kind of like, people say that all the time, and like people like kind of brush it off, but I really think that's true. And like, just knowing that, you can keep them alive, like keep talking about them and keep like, bringing up their memories, as more time goes by, you're kind of like, oh, like, are people going to forget about him, or am I going to forget about him? But I think like the biggest thing is to just like keep reliving those like happy memories and just focus on the good. Cause like I said, like, grieving definitely it's a lot harder when we have a lot of regret. So just trying to, not think about, what you could have done, and just really focusing on like all the good times that
All
never
the good,
had.
yeah. Because would have, could have, should have doesn't get you anywhere. Doesn't get you
exactly.
anywhere. Yeah,
So it's easier said than done, but it's a good thing to
exactly.
practice.
So I don't know if Ronnie told you, but we do end with 3 questions. And the first question is there something that you hope to lose in the next year?
Maybe just, any type of self-doubt. I think like, I do all these things, and like I'm very, I am very like driven, and I have all these goals, but sometimes like goals can get scary and overwhelming, especially like when you're trying to work for yourself or like do anything like that. So I guess the thing that I want to lose the next year, just any self-doubt, and just keep that confidence.
Fantastic.
And,
yeah. I think I've said this that's a great one. I think I've said this on the podcast before, but I have this life coach that I work with, and I was sort of making all these changes, and then I started getting in this like fear place, like the changes weren't real and they were going to go away. And she said, oh, when that happens, just remind yourself that you're limitless. I was like,
that's good.
Oh, that's right. I'm limitless,
I love
right?
that.
Because we are such powerful beings,
Yeah.
So that's like, I love that one. Okay. And is there something that you hope to gain in the next year?
Just more experiences. I'm kind of like an experience junkie. I want to like suck all the marrow out of life. Like I love traveling. I love learning new things, whether it's fire spinning or, I'm always like trying to pick up some new hobbies just gain more experience.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, and is there something that you hope you never lose?
I hope I never lose my passion, because I definitely, I get really passionate about something, and like my mom calls it like my tunnel vision. I just won't stop until I achieve my goal. So I definitely hope I never lose that part about me that definitely my dad taught me. So yeah.
Fantastic. Your dad, who grew up in a strict, almost cultish Christian world, who followed his passion to amazing results. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. Well, so Mary, this was so fun. I really enjoyed it. I cannot wait I just have this really strong feeling that things are really, this whole realm that you're getting back into of the voiceover acting and beyond, I just have a feeling it's really gonna grow and blossom.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see what happens.
Yay, me too.
Yeah. Okay. And well, thank you so much for coming on. And
of course.
I'm going to keep my eye out for something of extinction. What the heck is it called?
Yeah, Heroes of Extinction.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it.
My
Heroes
Instagram
of Extinction.
my Instagram is Visual Boo. So I'll post about that too, but it's be on heroesofextinction.com. And
Good. And thank you for reminding me. We'll have all that'll be in the notes, in the episode notes, but Visual Boo and Heroes of Extinction and all that info will be there. Oh my goodness, my timer went off. Perfectly.
Perfect, right on time.
All right. Thanks again, Mary. I can't wait to check in with you in a year and see how it's going.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, I know I say this every week, but did I tell you? Did you love Boo? Of course, her real name is Mary Gibbs, as you guys just learned. But she was great. I loved her. It was so fun. I want to do fire twirling with her, right?
Yeah, that's cool. I'm too scared to do that.
She's no, I'm not going to do that either. I'm not going to do that. And we have had another guest after her, which you guys will hear in a week or two, who also did fire twirling. That was Adrienne Earhart. She was she did fire twirling too. What are the chances?
I don't know.
2 weeks in a row. I think they're pretty slim. 2 weeks in a row. 2 blonde California women doing fire twirling. There you go.
Oh, when you say it like that, I think actually it's not that uncommon.
Yeah, you're right. I think the possibility just went way up, didn't it? Didn't it? Yeah.
Said it out loud like that.
Yeah. Right. If you look at the census data, the fire twirling that goes on in California, it's a pretty high percentage.
Pretty high, apparently.
So yeah. So anyway, we have a letter from last week.
We have a letter because of Adrian.
Because of Adrian, right? Adrian with OnlyFans.
We asked people who who had OnlyFans. This person didn't have an OnlyFans, but is in the online sex worker community. She works as a sex worker online. So it's basically the same thing as an OnlyFans, I guess. Okay.
Well, I do want to tell you that when I explained to Doug, my husband, what OnlyFans are, he was like, so can we do it? Can you do it? Come on. Well, how much? Like, how much do they have to see? Like, yeah, the market for a 64-year-old. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's out there. Anyway,
it's out there.
Oh, okay. So I'll report back.
It's definitely out there.
Okay. So here's our fan. Here's our letter from a fan. Hi, Nelsie. I don't do OnlyFans, but I am a cam girl. I've been camming for 2 years now, and I love it. I make over $100 an hour from camming and selling clips. If you treat it like a small business venture, you'll be off to a good start. Well, you know what I like about this person? Yeah. Is they're giving me a little bit of a tutorial, which clearly is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for about 3 years, paid my way through college doing it. I don't do really anything too sexual, mostly showers and oil shows. I got coconut oil right in the other room. Could happen like this. When I started, I was doing everything, but once I got popular, the owner of the site arranged for me to have professional photos done for my profile. Oh, when she said when I first started, I was doing everything, not I was doing everything, was I was doing everything, meaning she did their photos, blah, blah, blah. Okay. But once I got popular, the owner of the site arranged for me to have professional photos done for my profile and gave me a good webcam. I do shows 2 to 3 times a week, some groups, some private, and easily make over $800 a week. If you aren't afraid to be naked and have sex in public, you might have just crossed a line there, and you enjoy it, camming and OnlyFans is your path. Well, Jessica P., thank you so much. Wow. I just when I thought like really all my really exciting days were behind me. Turns out
no, not at all. Just beginning.
And I already got me a webcam, and I've got coconut oil, I've got olive oil. Heck, I've got avocado oil.
You got a ring light, yeah.
I've got a ring light. Yeah.
I'm afraid if you do start the OnlyFans that we won't have a podcast anymore because the OnlyFans will just go through. You'll be making millions off the OnlyFans, and
don't say that, Ronnie. I will go right now.
What am I going to do?
You can help me get some professional photos.
Oh,
you're editing, right?
Great. Oh, man. I don't know if I can do that.
I'm not going anywhere. Right. Ronnie has to talk me out of. But it's tempting. I have to say it's tempting. If it was a real thing, but it's not. I don't think it's really. Come on. Not at my age. Okay. All right. We're done. I'm not thinking about it anymore. I'm thinking about deep dish pizza. That's what I'm thinking about.
But we do have to find another letter.
I don't know. And here's the question: Are listeners just going? You forgot to ask for a fan letter. I mean, I just read a fan letter and I forgot to ask for one. Okay, so Mary talked about losing her dad.
Both her dads.
Yeah, so she's not the first person we've had losing a parent. I think one of the things that she talked about that was important is that she reconnected with him, so she didn't really feel like she had regrets. So maybe if you're out there and you've had a similar experience, either been able to sort of have time spend time with the person and not have regrets, or having missed out and as a result, maybe having some regrets. So that's it, guys. If you've lost someone and either been able to resolve things in a beautiful way before they go, in a variety of ways. I mean, for Mary, it was just she got to hang out with her dad and spend some time with him and feel close to him. So if you've been able to do that, or the opposite, like someone died and you felt unresolved or unfinished, let us know. You can email us at losingitcontact@gmail.com. And please rate and review. Please subscribe. Apparently that's the most important thing. And I mean it. I'm not kidding. This time I'm not kidding when I say subscribe. Subscribe. And then rate and review. If you read our reviews, we have 35 5-star reviews, but will you be the 36th one? Come on. Okay, so I'm getting so annoying. So listen, rate, and review. Tell your friends, tell your enemies. You can follow us on Instagram at Losing It Podcast, on TikTok, on Twitter. You can, if you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe and you can comment down there. If you have a great story for us, you can leave the story here on YouTube in the comments. You can DM us on Instagram, or you can contact us at losingitcontact@gmail.com.
Losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it, losing it. You came and you listened to the story. I hope so much that it didn't make you sorry, and I hope so much that you'll come back again.
Losing It, hosted by Nelsie Spencer. Produced by me, Ronnie Whaley. Theme song by Hunter Williams. Follow us online on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and all podcasting platforms at Losing It Podcast. Viewers can email Nelsie with questions or comments about life, writing, comedy, or even your own Losing It story for a chance to be on the Losing It Podcast at losingitcontact@gmail.com. For everything Nelsie and everything Losing It, visit us at nelsiespencer.com.